see some smiles, and that's always nice to see in the morning. Because otherwise, everyone's like, oh, it's okay, it's 9 in the morning. Or everyone's too busy rushing about their days, going to work, finishing all the million things that might be there to do at home. So, for people to take some time out, sit in front of you, and give you that lovely smile is always nice. It's always gratifying. It never gets old. So, I know a lot of you actually send really sweet messages, really heartwarming messages on the chat, and we do not get a chance to respond to them sometimes because we're so in the flow of what we're saying that when we read those, we just start smiling end to end. So then it kind of disrupts the flow of the serious topic that we have going at that point. So which is why we kind of go like, okay, I can always read this later. But like I always tell you, when you have a moment of appreciation, when you have somebody saying something nice to you, when you have somebody complimenting you, accept it. Take that moment to take it in, to accept it and say thank you. It's a very simple two words, just the words thank you. But there are also words that we do not use probably as often as we should. When you look around, you will see that people see you as an amazing person. And I mean that for each and every one of you. Because no matter what you do currently, no matter where you are in life at this point, no matter what you feel like you're still a work in progress for, whether that's you wanting to get your skills better at work, whether that is you feeling like you're not fulfilling your role as a partner, as a parent, as a whatever well enough today, whether it's you feeling like what new have I done in so long, while for you you're waiting to perfect your art, perfection is an illusion. Nothing is ever in the state of perfection. Anything that starts at a certain point is going to be great for that point, and then we're going to evolve from there. Like I've told you, and happiness also is at the key and cornerstone of the emotions that we feel. So while we discussed anger, we discussed fear, that's what we tend to do also, right? You go for a healing session, you sit in a session and you think about, oh, I have to let go of all the negative that I'm holding on to. But healing is as much about acknowledging the positive as it is about letting go of the negative. If you approach the problem either way, the solution is going to be as effective. So if someone says, I'm just going to look at the positive, I don't even want to get into that negative zone, and they're just going to focus on what's going well, what's positive, that journey itself is also going to be incredible. So happiness is at the cornerstone of one of the emotions we all are constantly running behind. When we speak about emotions and accepting them, as important as it is to accept anger, to accept fear, to accept sorrow, which, as I told you, are some of the key emotions that are there. It's equally important to accept happiness, accept joy, accept love. And I know that most people would be like, I mean, of course, I would love to accept it. It's just not around me. Or, I mean, why would I say no to accepting it? But there are many reasons that sometimes we do not accept the happiness, the love, the joy that is around us. I cannot tell you how many times we've done a healing session for a person. You're sort of sending them lots of good health, and you're making all these shifts, but the body doesn't know how it is to be healthy. So suddenly all this fear springs up. Suddenly they start resisting your session. That client who has been so regular, who has been before time for all your sessions, when 90% of the healing is done, suddenly goes like, no, I can't come. No, this is too expensive. No, everyone in my family is saying, this is not something I should be doing. Because that is where suddenly they know that their life is going to change. They're going to be happy. They're going to be feeling better. And it takes everything within you to move out of your comfort zone and to get to that point as well. How many of us know how to say thank you? How to simply be happy? Be happy with what is there. Shilpa says she does. So I mean, we would love to have some tips, because happiness itself also, the one simple thing and first thing to understand, you guys, is a constantly evolving state. I believe I've spoken about this to a certain extent before. I reiterate it now. Sometimes you go like, yeah, I know all these things are there, but one day I'm going to be really happy. One day I really want to be happy. And you keep running behind an elusive state instead of looking for it in what you have. So you can be having a horrible time, you can be feeling really, really ill, but you could still be happy. That's the happiness we're chasing for, finding happiness in your every moment, in your everyday life, because that is how you're going to build a happy life for yourself. Like they said, choose happy. I've had so many people who've come with depression cases, anxiety cases. And when we get down to the crux of what is happening, they speak about how, no, I mean, I'll be happy 5 minutes, but then I know something will hit me again. Great, I am working on this relationship and I've had like a dysfunctional family. And, every time I get happy, I just know that something is waiting for me behind the curtain. Something is going to get, like major is going to come up soon anyway. They tell you, bahut haso mat, rona padega. Don't laugh a lot, you'll have to cry later. Things like this that we put in conditioning, like from when kids are young. Don't smile too much, nazar lag jayegi. But if they're sad, well, then that's another story that we take them through, right? So they're happy, they're laughing, they're smiling, they're laughing at every stranger, they're smiling at every stranger they see. And people will be like, hey, don't smile at everyone. Nazar lag jayegi. Now your toddlers, your baby's crying, crying, crying. You go like, stop crying, there's nothing to cry about. So now they're frustrated because they don't know whether to laugh, whether to cry, whether to do anything, right? So they're screaming or doing exactly what you're doing, in fact. And you're just like, why are you screaming? Is there anything to scream about? They're sitting silent, doing their own thing, playing with their own stuff, just staring into space. Right? You see babies, you take them somewhere and they're just kind of looking, and they're just in some deep thought. You have no idea what they're thinking. You go like, hi, what's happening? Hello, what are you thinking? Imagine somebody doing this to you. Tell me how you'd enjoy it. You're like, this person just won't let me be. Don't laugh, don't cry, don't get angry, don't even just sit quietly and be. And that is what most of us have seen. I see smiles across, which is when I know that this is something you're seeing around you as well. What is this baby supposed to think? You tell me what you'd think if the same thing happened to you. And you have a fully functioning brain that knows how to process emotion. They're still figuring it out. You know how to process emotion. And you're like, what do you want me to do? We start adapting to the behaviors around us. Jason has written on the chat, what happens when people label us, right? What about when people label us? I actually had done a whole week, I think, on people labeling us. Or at least I know I've addressed this before, and I'll this thing definitely look it up, because that also is a big aspect of how our personality eventually develops. I don't know what subtopic I did it under. Imagine all these emotions and everyone's just sort of tossing them around and telling you, feel this, don't feel this, why are you feeling this, this is invalid. We start adapting to the behaviors that are around us. Because we go like, whatever this person is doing, people are okay with it. So let me do this. This must be the right thing to do. Similarly, labels also happen right from that point. When people start labeling us, Some of us know that this doesn't fit. So we might resist it for a bit. But when it keeps happening, and if it happens at a very young age, when you're in your formative years, your brain hasn't learned enough to know that this is something they think about me. It's not who I am. And that might become a label that becomes your personality as you go forward. Okay. And the point that I was saying, I've spoken about before, is happiness. So we all go behind this elusive state of happiness that we wish to feel. And when you come and realize, and when you come and think about it, happiness is constantly evolving. Something that makes you happy. So happiness is different for every single person on the planet. What brings me happiness may or may not bring happiness to you. Of course, there are some things that could bring happiness to multiple people. Chocolate makes a lot of people very, very happy. Okay. However, what you need in a certain moment, how happy something makes you, differs from person to person. Even for the same person, it differs from time to time. Just because something makes me happy just now does not mean it's going to make me happy forever. You're extremely hungry, or you've been really craving that, their favorite food comes to you, you eat it the first 3 bites and you're feeling so good, so happy. Oh, I was craving this since so long and now it's in front of me, I'm eating. You wanted to meet a person, since ages, and you're meeting your best friend after so long, you feel so happy. You're playing with your baby, you feel so happy. You got that promotion, you feel so happy. But now if I freeze you in that state and I let that continue forever, so you met your best friend, you're feeling so happy. Now your best friend stays for an hour, great, you're feeling happy. They stay for a day, they stay for a week, they stay for a month, they stay for a year. Is it going to make you equally happy seeing them? No, you're like, you might even get pissed seeing them sometimes. You'll be like, okay, what is this? That food, those first 2 bites made you very, very happy. But after half an hour, that same food, looking at that same cake that you were craving, makes you feel sick because you've had so much of it now. You're done. That promotion made you very happy. But after hours and hours of putting in that work, you're like, okay. You either get used to it or you're looking at a new point now. After 3 years, you're not going to be like, oh my God, I got promoted. Now you're going to think about the next promotion you can have. Your baby, playing with them makes you very happy the first 20 minutes. Keep them for 20 days alone, you'll be like, okay, like you make me happy, but let's toss it up a little bit. So now if we're going to wait for something to, make us feel really good, really happy for a really long amount of time, and then I'm going to let it in, because then it's not going to go away. So many people actually that were feeling that state of depression, that was the belief that was there, that sorrow stays, fear stays. Okay, I'm scared of disappointing people today. I'm going to be scared of disappointing people 3 years later, equally or more. Right? Happiness diminished. Having that same situation, my happiness level changed. It reduced. So it's uncertain. I don't know. But that fear, even after 10 years, it's the same. It's premium quality. Nothing about it changed. That anger, and here I'm talking about things being exactly in the same module that they are. It stayed or it grew. So these emotions, that was the center belief that a lot of them had. My sorrow stays, my depression stays, my fear stays. It doesn't leave me. It's a constant in my life. When I'm happy, I know that so I could get sad in the future. And that state of happiness was short-lived. So I have to adjust and like get back to this zone of figuring how to go about life. Because a lot of them are in that state of denial also, right? As to how to move forward, what to do. But when I'm sad, I know I can continue to stay sad. I don't have to let that happiness in, right? That sadness hits me when I'm happy, and it's not like I can keep it away. But when I'm sad, I can stay that way for long. So it's a constant state. It gives me stability. And that's where so many of them were inviting those behaviors of depression or staying in depression, because it felt safer. It felt like it had some stability to it. Do you see how twisted it gets in our mind? That state. And how many of you hear of labels of, this person, oh, this person is such a happy person. They're happy all the time. But you hear labels of most things that are negative. They're a fattu. They're so scared of everything. They're always worried about something. They'll start crying at the drop of a hat. You'll hear those labels left, right, and center. So they're also easier labels to stick by. You're not breaking any stigma. You're not making anyone uncomfortable. But the choice that you have to make here is, do you want to stay in that state? Or do you want to take happiness for whatever it is, for whatever you get? Till you're going to wait for it to be permanent to feel it, it's not going to happen. It's going to be when you feel it in every small moment. Okay, you felt happy for just a minute. Take it. You're like, great, I felt amazing for this 1 minute. Then deal with life as usual. But have that 1 minute. Take it, accept it, say thank you. Somebody says something nice to you, say thank you. Do not question motive. Do not think that, oh my God, like, do I have, like, you'll see most compliment anyone tells you, oh, you're looking really nice today. Like, oh, no, it's just this. Oh, you look nice today too. We look at giving a whole answer, a whole explanation to a compliment, whereas it's just a compliment. Say thank you and accept it. The minute you start accepting compliments, you'll see you'll receive so many more compliments. The minute you start accepting abundance, you see you receive so much more abundance. The minute you start accepting happiness, the minute you start accepting love, without questioning it, without doubting, without wondering how long it'll last, knowing that I am going to nurture this within my space. I'm okay, fine. My point of happiness is moved. So great, I get to be happy about something new every day. Let me look for happiness in every situation that I'm in. And when you do that, automatically the universe gives you more to be happy about. You want to give to someone, how when somebody comes for dinner to your place, you'll have some people that are absolute foodies that go like, oh my God, I love food. Let's see what you prepared today. They'll eat your food and they'll eat it with so much gusto. You can see that they're enjoying the food that they're having. And then there'll be guests, they'll be like, oh my God, what? No, this doesn't fit with my diet. I don't eat after this. And no, I don't eat too much actually. I'll just take a bite, I wouldn't like too much. No, please don't make too much for me. It's fine. We respect everyone's dietary preferences. But if some guest does this every time when they come to your place, you just invite them and they're like, no, don't make so much. No, I don't eat this. No, give me very little. I'll just taste what it is. Now, you don't make food for tasting, do you? Like, while every person might be following a certain diet, you tell me who you want to invite for dinner the next time. You know how you say, like, you enjoy feeding someone who enjoys the food. You can see that joy in their eyes. You respect the other person's decision too. But next time I've made something, I'm not going to think of the person who isn't going to eat it. I'm going to think of the person who might probably really enjoy it. And you'll be like, oh, I'm sending this over for them. Have them taste it. Who do you think the food digests better for as well? Like you see, they're just so happy with their food. They're just so happy. You almost feel like, there's a symphony. Let's not disturb that. Let them just eat. You'll see so many people that go like, just seeing them eat, I feel good. I feel full. Like my heart is full that they took it that way. Similarly, you want to gift something to someone. You get a random gift. You give it to a person who's like, no, you didn't have to. Why did you know what is this? Or they're calculating what they have to return to you because you've given them something, so they must return it at some point to you. Your birthday. So if you got it on your birthday, they're gonna return it on your birthday, or all those things. And I've seen Indians have a system, everything is logged. Everything is accounts at the end of the day. Indians did not get so good at math by fluke. It is a very well practiced science that we practice in every field of our life. Negotiation, accounts. You'll have accounts of what you got when you gave birth to your baby 30 years ago. That's not going to apply when somebody gives birth to their baby now, but you have an account. This is what they gave me at my wedding. So they gave me 500. So I give them 500 back. Or I'm classier than that. So I give them 1,000. But the other one gave me 3,000. So I have to return 3,000. So eventually it's all math. If we just discussed it and didn't waste good envelopes on it, it could be easier as well. But so many of us modulate what we will give to someone based on what we received from them. So even gifting. No, Diwali gifts. I got a really big platter from this house. So even if it's outside my resource, everything, I have to give, we have to give them something really good. This person just sent a box of chocolates that I know was lying around in the house. So, we can give them something more ordinary. Are you doing that in other areas of your life as well? Is your giving and receiving in life, it could be for anything at all. Think beyond materialistic here now. Giving and receiving love, giving and receiving joy. Anything at all, even anger. This person gives me so much anger, so maybe I should multiply that and give that back to them. You probably might be. When you look at the people who you really get angry at. So is that math? Because math is math. Once I have a certain formula in my head, that is what I'm going to apply everywhere. Is that what you're doing? And is that something you want to continue doing? Simple question, simple thought. Isn't it natural to give what you get? It doesn't have to be. There's one school of thought where because you've seen that, because you've practiced that, or, because it started with something relatively small, like what do you get for your birthdays or what do you get for this occasion? We started doing that in other areas. However, there's also the universal thought where they say giving and receiving is modulated by the universe. Today, don't we say that when we do charity or anything else? Today, you give to someone in need. And when you really need something, you have no idea where it'll come to you from. We all practice that as well. Today, you be kind to people. You teach that to your children, right? Be kind. Help those in need. If you're doing that for the gratification that, and then people are going to say, wow, she donates every month. But I don't believe everyone hears from that school of thought. I know that so many people here, so many of us give because it makes us feel good. The minute there's any ego attached to it, we are taking away from our own end result. Right? But when you're simply giving, when you're simply kind, and you'd always tell your kids, just be kind, give to those in need. And the universe will always take care of you. When you need it most, you have no idea who will come and give that to you. And I've seen that again and again and again. I'm sure so many of you have as well. When we are non-attached to the outcome, when we are non-attached to the result, you will see that things are so seamless. When you genuinely, like, you're walking and you see someone, sort of begging, and you went like, you know what, let me just buy a chocolate and give it to them. You weren't thinking twice. When somebody asked you for something, you had it within you to give it to them. And you gave it to them without another thought in your mind. Without like, okay, I'm doing a good deed. You just did it. You would have seen it comes in multiples to you. One of the things that really works here is our ego, our expectation is not attached to it. When you give even love to someone without thinking about it, you just felt it, you gave it, it's finished, it's done. You suddenly see that coming back. Why is it that we feel hurt with the same dynamic within our relationships? You will see, you go to work and you're just being yourself, you're happy, or, somebody's having a bad day, and you just, whatever comes to your mind, and you say a few words, and, those might be really reassuring words to them. And they'll say, thank you so much, I needed to hear that. You weren't thinking twice. You weren't thinking, no, I'm going to say something nice to them now, because it's just what happened. It was in the flow of what happened. And you will see, suddenly they'll be like, they're such a nice person. You're always there when, we need you. And then you'll come and say, all these random people, my colleagues, this random person I met, all of them think I'm this wonderful person. They always appreciate me for who I am. But my relatives, those near and dear to me, don't even see it. They think I'm so selfish. They think I don't have time for anyone. Why is that? Why do so many of us go through this disparity? Because when it comes to our near and dear ones, now we have expectation. Now when I give that birthday gift, or now when I give that thing, I'm like, oh, I might have given it at that moment, just like that. My birthday comes and I've given you this, like amazing hamper I put together and all worth 5,000. And now my birthday comes and you barely even wish me. It's going to pinch me a little bit. I'm going to be like, I put a lot of effort into that. That time you weren't thinking that. You're like, I did that. The least they could have done is, sort of at least got me something small. When my expectation is attached to that emotion, when my ego is attached to it. When I was helping that colleague and I was telling them something in the passing, they were telling me their story. I have nothing to do with their life. So I just told them what I genuinely felt and believed. But when my son comes and tells me that they're having that same problem, now when I give advice, I expect him to follow up on that advice. I expect him to be thankful for that advice. I expect things from them, which is why it hurts me when they do not respond that way. So the minute your expectation, your ego is attached, it changes the equation. You're giving, you're receiving. I'm talking equally about receiving, because today we're talking about happiness, love. Again, this was not the plan. Today I sat on this chair completely set, completely determined, with a list in my mind that we're going to do the B rounds. And then I saw, okay, people are still coming on. And I just started talking, and then we moved on to this. Don't worry, we will still do B rounds. But when I started talking is when I realized that we spoke about anger, fear, all of those things, but we didn't speak about happiness and love and how important it is to receive them. Receive, so give without expectation, everyone understands. I hope all of you understand the terminology. Receive without expectation also. Because a lot of people have come and said, no, I mean, it's great that but then I can't sit and give back so much. The other person might not have gotten you something with that, but because we are wired that it's like, but I cannot receive because I don't know, I cannot give it back to them. So I'll feel bad. I had a friend who, if we're paying at a restaurant and we split the bill. We don't do I'll pay, I'll pay, I'll pay, I'll pay. We just split it. Easy, clean. But sometimes, it's like barely like somebody has come, they've joined you for 10 minutes, they've had just the dessert. They're like, no, I'll pay, I'll pay. And you're like, it doesn't matter. It's 100 rupees. Do you want to? This friend of mine told in the next lifetime. I don't want to have to come and serve you in the next lifetime. And I was just like, gosh, you just pay. If this makes you better, just pay. Receiving happiness, receiving love, seeing happiness in our everyday environment, saying thank you when you receive a compliment, not questioning motive. Do they want something from me? Is this why they praise me? What is happening? Like sort of thinking of what the case is, not defending it. Because when we receive criticism, we don't do that at all. Criticism not even received to your face. You heard a story from someone who told someone else. And you're like, oh my God, am I such a bad person? Did I do this? What did I do that they feel like I'm so selfish? Receive compliments with that gusto, no? Someone told someone that, oh, she was looking nice. Spend half an hour thinking about that, no? How much time do we spend thinking about other things? How much time do we spend hurt when other people talk about us negatively? When other people gossip about us? I always tell, we've seen that thread, right? Where you'll have some people who'll be like, oh, yesterday she did this, this, this. I'm like, you must be a real celebrity because you're going on with your life today. But there's a bunch of people, these 3 or 4 people who, of course, who are gossiping, who took out 2 hours of their time today just to discuss you, just to discuss what you were wearing, just to discuss what you were doing, just to discuss how you ate, what you did, why you did, while you actually did something productive with your life in those 2 hours. Take away simple tips. Look for something that makes you happy every day. If you are going through a really tough time, take it up as a happiness challenge. I've done this on Instagram. I used to find something that made me happy every single day. It was the happiness challenge. It was trending back in 2014. Most people started it. Most people did not finish it. It was called 100 Days of Happiness. Took it up, made a huge difference because nobody has 100 days of happiness. Nobody, however sorted they are, there will be something that's not going right in life. But for me to find what makes me happy, even within that. So a person could be really ill. They could be so they could spend all that time feeling miserable, feeling so low, feeling down. Or they're sitting and playing cards, because everyone's not well. So let's sit and play cards. And they could be feeling really happy about that. So finding something that makes you happy every single day is how you will create happiness, because happiness will keep changing state. So if you're ready to acknowledge it in all its forms, if you're ready to take it for whatever bit that is there, today I felt happy for 1 minute, great. Tomorrow I felt happy for 3 hours, great. The third day I felt happy for just half a minute. That's great too. For it. Take it for whatever it is, no? Somebody wants to give you something and you go like, no, we'll take something when it's bigger. This is a lesson someone taught me very recently. Like, no, what's the point, I'll wait for the correct thing that I want. I'll wait for the house of my dreams. I'll wait for the jewelry I really want. And they said, take what you're getting and take it with joy and believe in what you really want. You want to get jewelry, think of what you really want. And that's going to manifest. But in your confusion, do not let go of everything that comes in the way. Somebody is giving you 0.5 gram of gold and you go like, 0.5 gram, what? I'm not going to build a palace out of this. Forget it, it's okay. When I earn enough, I'll buy a kilo of gold. When I earn enough, I'll buy a kilo of gold. But instead, when I really have that resource, I'm getting that half gram, 1 gram, 2 grams, 10 grams, 30 grams. I'm receiving it. We receive so much stuff on occasions and all. I'm receiving it, I'm collecting it, or I'm using what money I've saved up for that. Instead of waiting for this elusive, perfect time, I'm enjoying everything for what it is. And before I know it, I have my end goal. I have the resources to buy a house now. I have this house. That's all right. It's not my dream home, and I don't see that dream home just now. But this house is good enough to, it fits my resources that I have just now. Should I take it? If your body says yes, if your mind says yes, yes. Do I believe in that abundance? Yes. So many of us save up that money going like, no, but I don't think this house really serves my purpose, and which is fine. It varies case to case basis also, but I'll buy it later. I'll buy it later. I like when the house I really want, that time I'll look at it. Forget it. You're getting a great deal just now. You have the resource, you have everything, and you're like, no, I'll wait. And you know what most people will tell you after that? They waited, but then they ended up using that money for something else where it was needed. And they've started building from scratch anyway then. Has this happened to you in any area of your life where you've saved and then you end up using that money because things will keep coming up? So take what is there with joy, with gratitude, with love. Happiness and love are your birthright. The emotions your body is very, very finely tuned to. Do not worry about, but what if I am sad after some time? So those people who enjoy their food, that's what they do, right? You see, even in the cold, they're eating an ice cream and they're so happy. And you're like, no, aren't you worried you're going to get a cold? They're like, yeah, but this is so worth it. They're enjoying it. And you see those people then, fall ill who didn't have ice cream and they still fell ill and they're like, at least I should have had that ice cream. And you see that they'll be gallivanting, but because they were so happy in receiving it that their energies were completely in universal frequency. They were taking things in with joy. I've seen people who I know who have been chronically worried about their tonsils. Since the age of 5 that I've known them, they're like, no, if I eat ice cream, I'll get a cold. And that's fine. Everyone comes from their own experiences, comes from their own beliefs. But that's the thing about happiness, about love, about joy. Accept it. Take it in. For whatever it is. I feel half a minute. That half a minute is mine to feel happiness. Slowly and surely, your body will know that feeling as such a strong feeling. The way your body knows sorrow, the way your body knows grief, your body is going to know happiness as such a solid feeling. When something is solid, no, we lean back on it. We know it's us. We know it's there. When we feel like it's going to go away is when we run. Make it solid. Today, invest in 1 minute, tomorrow 10, the other day 30. Look for something that makes you happy every day. I did it for 100 days and it changed things. It was basically the challenge was that if I stop at day 38, I forget to post day 38, I start from day 1 again. So you definitely don't want to lose that momentum. So you're going to find something that makes you happy. So even on the day you're bawling, you're crying, you're having such a bad day, your mind after a few days, after 3 weeks, after a month, is so habituated to clicking a photo of something that made you happy that day that before you realize it, you would have done it. It makes a whole lot of a difference. So accept every emotion for what it is, wholly, completely. Let the layers unravel themselves. These emotions are for you to feel. So let them come in. Just reading Anusha's message and I realized to get happy and someone is getting a good. Okay, so Anusha said, ma'am, when I donate for a purpose and get happy that someone is getting a good meal, is that happiness good or bad? Is being happy ego? Because I love for whom I donate, so I donated. See, the thing is how attached you are to it will make it an expectation or ego or not. Your point is very valid. A lot of people donate, but it gives them that ego. But I'm doing well enough that I could donate. The minute you're very attached to what you're doing, it could be an outcome, it could be the result, it could be the act of doing what you're doing that you're attached to. See, is it disappointing you if you had a certain plan in mind as to how you want to donate, what you want to donate, when you want to donate, and it didn't go according to plan? Would that upset you? If it would, if the answer to that is yes, then your ego or your attachment is probably also involved. Nothing wrong, all emotions, all things that we feel, which is why they happen to us. But that is where we shifted. Like I told you, think of the act of doing something without having given it thought. So many times, even happiness, now that's the point to get to from here. When we think about it too much, it automatically we involve our level of attachment and expectation to it. When something just happens, like I told you, somebody you meet someone in the lift and they're crying, you're not going to think, oh, now what should I say, what should I do? You're going to just act. You're going to be like, are you all right? It'll be okay. If they're crying hysterically, you're going to probably give them a sip of water if you have a bottle of water with you. When you do, those random acts of kindness which just happen, you don't think about them. You didn't, when you come back to your house, so you came in this lift, you live on the 30th floor, somebody was crying, you just asked them, are you okay? You gave them a sip of water. You told them, it's going to be all right. Don't worry. Whatever it is that came to your mind. When you come up, you're not going to boast about it generally. You're not going to be like, oh, there was this person on the lift and I made them feel really good. I gave them water. No, because it was something very natural to you. You did it and you're done with it. You're over with it. When things happen with that smoothness, that's what happens. We want to make the aim of today's session, the aim of speaking about this so much. Giving part, releasing expectation, you might get, but receiving also that way is what we want to do. Somebody says a compliment to you, somebody says something nice to you, effortlessly be able to say thank you. That's skill. It takes learning. Where you're not doubting, you're not judging, you're not second guessing, you're not wondering. You're like, oh, thank you. Same thing, I tell you, our behavior with strangers sometimes are a model of how to live our lives. You see the person in your house that gets the angriest. Okay? And then see how they deal with, a business colleague, a client they have to land. How they work with, a stranger that is there. And so many times, like you'll end up telling them, treat me like you treat that stranger. Because we're kinder to them by default. We're nicer to them by default. We don't just walk, even if you're having a really bad day, you won't walk into a restaurant and start shouting at the waiter. It might come up sometime during your meal because you cannot hold it in and it happens and we've seen that. But for the most part, you're going to still be civil. You're going to be nice. You're going to be like, may I have the menu, please? We're kind to outside people. Why can we not be kind to ourselves? We're forgiving to those around us. Your family member makes a mistake, your child makes a mistake. Will you tell them for 5 years that they made that mistake, or will you get over it? They dropped a glass of juice. You're annoyed because you were going out, you had n number of things to do. Now you have to go back, you have to mop it, or there's going to be ants and everything that goes with it. You'll tell them for that time, you might tell them for a few hours, you might tell them for a day or two, depending on you and your personality. You'll be over it after that. And that is the aim. For those that there are people who will tell you after 10 years, you drop this glass of juice. They're probably the ones that are struggling to get over emotions and feeling stuck a little bit. So when we can forgive them for that, why can't we forgive ourselves for mistakes that we make? Why do we stay stuck in a certain situation, in a certain mistake we made? We're carrying that mistake with us wherever we go. We're letting it shadow our personality when we do that. So see if you can let go. Allow yourself to be happy. Know that happiness and love is your birthright. You come from the energy of the seventh plane, the energy of unconditional love. So, any of you that feel like, yes, but I've only seen fights, I've only seen depression, you were made with love. So, even if it feels alien to you just now because there are layers that accumulated over it, that is at the essence who you are. So when you will open up to it, it'll always be a natural sync that is there. It'll always be something that your body knows how to take in. Remember that you were sent with the perfect blueprint. Your body is designed to stay healthy and take care of itself. Your body is designed to sustain itself, no matter what. So if you have all those goals of fitness and you feel like I'm not getting there, remind your body of its healthy blueprint. Your body was designed to be healthy and sustain you no matter. Your body was designed to, when you go in a cold environment, you'll feel cold for 5 minutes, then you'll be fine. To adapt. Tune back into your body's wisdom, your mind's wisdom, and your true essence of divinity and joy. Okay? The topics unplanned always go longer than desired. But I feel like this topic of emotions is something that's a longer topic, and I am probably not going to be able to take the sessions next week, which is why I feel like my mind is giving out whatever is coming to it at this given point. I'm going to quickly do some downloads and healing. So would you like to know that I know and understand the creator of all that is his definition and perspective of happiness, love, joy, that I know what it feels like, how to, when to, and that it is safe and possible for me to wholly and completely accept happiness, love, and joy within my life, to know that I deserve it, that I allow it, and that I choose happiness, I choose joy for my life, I choose to feel love and be loved. I choose to live with the energy of happiness and love every single day. That I know that it is safe and possible for me to do so and to live a happy life, to have a happy life. That I know and understand the nature of happiness and I feel gratitude to the ever evolving nature of happiness. I know what it feels like for me to be able to find gratitude and joy in my everyday life. That I know what it feels like to receive love, to receive happiness, to receive joy, to receive abundance within my life now, and to know that it is safe and possible for me to receive, that I allow myself to be in universal alignment and tuning with my divine self, with my sense of health, with my sense of joy, and with the energy that I come from, which is that of joy and unconditional love, that I am in tune with that frequency now, that I know what it feels like to have a balance between giving and receiving, understanding giving and receiving through the definition and perspective of the creator of all that is from the seventh plane, that I know what it feels like to be in alignment with who I truly am, with balance, joy, and gratitude, that I allow myself to move forward within this now, that I choose to be happy, and that I know that it is safe and possible for me to savor every moment for what it is, to be able to give and receive without expectation, and to know what it feels like to live my life with the flow of the universe, and to allow myself to flow with the flow of life, and to know what it feels like to receive all the abundance, joy, happiness, and love without the need in me to overthink it, that I am love, I am joy, I am happy, and I choose happy. Can I download this for each person into every cell, atom, molecule of their body, every area of their life, at all four levels of their beliefs, in any and every language ever known or understood by you, for your highest and best in your highest and best way? Say yes to receive this download. Okay, you guys. Have a happy, happy day, and we'll see you all tomorrow, bright and early. Have a good day.